6 men at the end of the beginning, as it's sometimes been called, and wonderful to see you all. I've checked and they don't mind me introducing them, so that's Danadhara, Sanghacitta, Adbhutaja, Sangadharin, Bodhimati and Adityabandhu back in our midst, and it's a real pleasure to see you all. You all look excellent and really look forward to hearing what you've got to say. So most of the rest of the evening we'll just be listening to and I suppose looking at the new order members, and I don't know what they're going to say, but I look forward to hearing it, and we're going in an order that's been called natural seniority. Which is also the order in which people are ordained, so it's traditional actually. And the new order members know that they've got limited time, and that when they hear a respectful bong emanating from this side of the room, that they need to be wrapping up. So that's what that is if you hear it. But without further ado, let's hear from our first new order member, Danadhara. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very, very kind of you. Thank you. And that was quick. I thought there would be one or two things going on. That's all right. It's not a problem. But yeah, thank you very much. So yes, thank you, friends for coming to see us this evening. It's a very, very significant evening for us, and we really appreciate you all coming along. It's lovely. Thank you. So my name is Danadhara. I'm going to tell you what that means in just a moment. There was a So we've been up the mountain. We've been to Goicoloko getting ordained. It's a beautiful retreat centre in Spain, and I think about 2 nights in, I had a dream about Boy George. Why is that funny? And I came to breakfast the next day, and I said to the men around me, I said, I told them I dreamt about Boy George, and they said, Boy George. I said, George Michael? It's Boy George. I mean, and they hadn't heard of Boy George. And it just struck me then. It just really struck me then for the first time that we had different generations of men on that retreat. So I was one of the older of the men there. And there were lots of younger men there, and I was the only man of colour on that retreat too. So there were possible avenues for division. And the reason I mentioned the Boy George generation thing is because all these men just responded to me like a brother. They responded to me like a brother, and you might expect them to anyway, but because I was quite a lot older than them, I just wasn't quite sure, and being the only person of colour. And it was just a real brotherhood from the very, very start. It was really, really beautiful. And it really, really struck me. And I want to thank you for that. It really, really struck me. So the disadvantage of going first is that the men who follow me have a chance to thank me if they want to thank me. And I might not thank them because I'm going first. So what I want to do is just in advance, I want to thank the men in advance in case you thank me. Thank you. Just thank me. So my name, I was given my name Danadhara. My private preceptor and very good friend Manjasir over here. And Danadhara, it's a Pali name, perhaps some Sanskrit, I'm not quite sure. But Dana is the name means he who bears the quality of giving, or he who bears the quality of generosity. And I was just thinking about giving. So giving. I mean, it's something that my private preceptor saw in me. He saw a quality of generosity, and he also saw a kind of world of generosity for me to move into, for me to grow into. And I really responded well to it. I thought it was lovely, and I'm really, really excited about it. And the other side of generosity, the other side of giving, is receiving too. So imagine receiving ungraciously. You know, if someone pays you a compliment or is generous to you, I'm sure we've all done it, and I've done it, and you receive it ungraciously, and it's a real. I mean, it's a kick. It's a kick in the guts, really. You know. So the other side of that name is to receive graciously too, to receive kindly. And that's how I understand it. To grow into giving and to grow into receiving too. And I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with the name. I think it's lovely. I think it sounds beautiful. It's got an Irish tilt to it as well. So I mean, the Irish. So Anton and Josie will be delighted with that. And so I'm just really, really, really happy about it. Really pleased about it. And it's an odd thing being given a name when you're 57 years old, a new name. But I just think I'm responding really well to it. I think I feel very positive about it. And and I'm just very, very happy about my name. I just want to say something about the course, and then I want to thank a couple of people, and that's all really. So the course, the Ordination training course that we've been on, I mean, really, it was an opportunity to encounter life. It was an opportunity to encounter ourselves and encounter life. So the joys of life, the difficulties of life, the challenges, all sorts of things. And it's an opportunity that you don't have to take. In everyday life, you're given that opportunity also. And again, you don't have to take it. But it's presented to you so skillfully and so beautifully on the course, and with such benevolence and wisdom and kindness, that it makes it much, much easier to encounter yourself, encounter all of yourself, and and decide to move towards those experiences. I think that's what I wanted to say. Can't rewind. No, that's it. Yeah, that's really what I want to say about the course. That's probably the only thing I wanted to say about the course, really. Change and grow. Yeah, just to change and grow. It's an opportunity to change and grow, and it's very, very rare. I've thought I've encountered an opportunity to change and grow in everyday life, and that's it. I think all the significant sort of decisions and changes I've made in my life, I've never gone into them with my eyes wide open, knowing exactly what I'm doing. Often I've had a glimpse of something, or an inspiration or something, that this is the right thing to do. And what the course did, so it offered me opportunities to encounter life. And as the course went on, that glimpse just got kind of wider and wider. That door was opened further and further. So it's just a really moving, really positive experience. And I think I discovered some inner resources too. I think certainly in terms of craving. I craved really throughout the whole retreat. I craved for my wife, my family, my bed, my football team. I craving going all the way through. And what I discovered also was that I have inner resources. I mean, they're not just mine. They were nurtured and brought out by Adityabandhu and Vidyadhara and the men on the course. They were nurtured and brought out for me. But they are mine, and they're in here. And I can develop them further, and that was a real gift as well. That was really wonderful. And I've been wondering what the order is. The order is a network of friends. I mean, that's been told to me again and again. The order, our order, Triratna, our Buddhist order, is a network of friends. But mitras also are in that there are mitras here, and you're in that network too. So you're in our network of friends. And in fact, all people here, I think everyone here really is a friend. So you're in our network of friends. In fact, all sentient beings. Everything. This is the Buddhist vision, isn't it? We're a network of friends, really. So it isn't, just the order or the new order members. It's really all of us, and it's clearly all of us here tonight because you're all here to support us, these men. So I just want to move on to. I just want to thank some people. I'm grateful. Thanks. I want to thank my good friend Caroline. Where's Caroline? I want to thank my good friend Caroline at the back. So Caroline is not a Buddhist, but Caroline fed and clothed me and housed me when I couldn't feed and clothe and house myself. And she did that, and I love her very much for that, and I'm very, very grateful. Is Wendell here? Oh, he hasn't got it. Okay, not to worry. That's fine. He's no friend of mine. You telling me that? So the Saturday morning team, the Urban Dharma Project team. So I saw Ryall and Edoya and a few other people on Saturday. My first time back as an order member And I don't know what sort of order member I'm going to be. I didn't know how it was going to be, and you welcomed me really, really beautifully, and I'm very, very grateful for that. That was a very significant moment for me to come back. First time with a case to the centre. My sister's in the Dharma. We have these separate nights now. We have to because there are so many men. And I want to thank all my sisters in the Dharma. I stand beside you, and you've helped me a lot. And many of you individually and collectively have helped me a lot, and I'm very, very grateful. The Sangha. I've got a list in here. Sorry, it's a list of stuff. So the Sangha, the teams. So the teams at our retreat centres, the teams at Vipassana, the teams at Adhisthana, and in particular the team of men who live and work at Padmaloka. Obviously, they've helped me immeasurably, and I'm very grateful to them. Padmavajra at Padmaloka, I'm very grateful to him for recognising that we were born in the same room. That'll be a surprise to many of you. It's also not true, we're born in the same building, but I like it that we were born in the same room. And the Goikaloka residential team and the volunteers who work there, they were there for us 24 hours a day, and they're there for all the men who go there 24 hours a day, all the time. They're there for you, and they just work, and they do it through love, and they do it through a love and a commitment to the Dharma and to our order. And we're joining that order. It's just, it's mind-boggling, really. It's beautiful. And then just to finish off, a couple more minutes. I just need to thank and just show my gratitude and show my respect to Maitreya and to Vidyadhaka and to Dharmasara and to Kashantikara, the men who led us directly through the retreat. There's nothing I can say really to express that gratitude. I'm just deeply grateful. Thank you. Just finally, just the sort of men directly involved in my direct ordination process. There were lots of men and women directly involved in it, but my Kalyana Mitras, Manjusya and Sanghacitta, have just really guided me through my life really for the last few years with love and skill and commitment and just great friendship. I'm very, very grateful to you, Manjusya, and to Sanghacitta for that. Yanavacha is my friend, and he's also my he's not. He's my public preceptor, and it was great. He's my friend, and I knew he was my public preceptor, but the course was all a bit chaotic, and I hadn't put two and two together that he was going to come and publicly ordain me, and then there he was, and it all just came together. And it's just a wonderful moment seeing you there and going for our short walk and being ordained by you, and I'm very grateful to you. Thank you. And then just winding up right now, yes. My fantastic wife, Claire, and my beautiful son, James. You've guided me through my life for the last 16 years with love and skill and compassion and lots of laughs and humour. And I'd rather spend my time with you than anybody else. And I'm very, very grateful to you for loving me and being my family. It's fantastic. I never had a family, really, and this is great. Thank you. And then finally, I just want to pay further respects to Manjusya for privately ordaining me. We had a very very beautiful ceremony. I shouldn't say anything about the ceremony. I wasn't saying about the ceremony, but it was very, very beautiful. And you told me my name. And so straight away when I heard the name, it was beautiful, and I thought that's me. But your voice telling me it, like you telling me it, you giving me my name, was just so benevolent. It was just so lovely, and I just want to live out. I just want to live through that name. I want to do myself justice. I want to do you justice in having that vision for me, having that faith in me. Thank you, Surya-Gupta, I want to thank you as well. I haven't planned to thank you, but I see you sitting sort of looming large over there. Thank you. And And then, very, very finally, our teacher, Bhante Sanghacitta. I'm getting to know Bhante Sanghacitta more and more. I don't feel as though I know him particularly well, but just the longer I live, the sort of more gifts are bestowed upon me in my life, the more I feel I owe him, and I think the closer I'm getting to him. And I got close to him on the course. Adbhutaja told fantastic. This is a secret of the course, I shouldn't say this. But Adbhutaja told us lovely, lovely stories about Bhante. Thank you. And so, yes, I'm very grateful to Bhante, and I'm very grateful to Shakyamuni Buddha. So thank you, friends. Thank you very much.
Indeed, Danadhara, wonderful. How much does come through, isn't it? Amazing. I'll just particularly mention friendship and brotherhood. You talked about and a glimpse of something. I think those things together probably, give us something to sort of gaze at. And your gratitude comes through very strongly as well, which is part of giving, isn't it? And you've drawn out some of your name, I think, through that, so thank you.
Thank you.
Good. So, let's hear from Sanghacitta.
Thank you, and thanks for Pranyamas. And that was a great talk. Thank you for that, and you're a great support on the course. Thank you. What was I now?
I won them.
You did? No, okay. It's going to be a bit of a long one. No, it's not actually. My name is Sanghacitta, and it means heart of the Sangha, and or he who has Sangha at his heart. Which I was given that name by my private preceptor Adityabandhu, and it's always that sort of, what am I going to be called? What am I going to like it? It's going to, And when I got given it, I instantly liked it. I thought, thank God for that. I had lots of. I like that. That's me. And the heart of Sangha, And I just thought, and I was, and I started sort of that night. Actually, we went straight into silence. So I was sort of practicing my little signature, crossing the name out, and just go, Sanghacitta. So I was very, very pleased with that. Instantly, actually, and thank God. Anyway, okay. What do I want to say? My journey. Okay, so what I'm not going to do is turn this into the Jerry Springer show. So, but I did have a bit of a journey coming here, and which is important. It's important in my story, and I first joined the Triratna, or started. I went to Croydon Buddhist Centre back in 2005. So my journey was like from suffering, from pain, and through addiction and drugs and alcohol, and it just kind of weighed me down, and I suffered and made other people suffer around me until I actually gave it up. And I thought, actually, I can't deal with this anymore. But on top of that, it was off the back of a relapse. Actually, I tried sort of stopping for a while, and I thought, and someone said to me, why don't you learn to meditate? And I thought, well, they didn't tell me where to go, so I knocked on Croydon Buddhist Centre's door, and I turned up at Croydon Buddhist Centre. The first order member I had contact with was a chap called Jnanagarbha, and I always want to mention him because I'm absolutely grateful to him. I know we're not doing a thanks here, but I'm very, very grateful to him because he was like very calm. He was very kind, very warm, and very gentle, and I was like not long off off a relapse, and And I said to him, I said, look, am I too late to join the class? He went, well, we're a weekend, but you haven't missed much. And I said, well, how much is it? And he went, well, I said, don't worry about that. Just come in and we'll sort them out. If you like it, we'll sort out the payment after. And I thought, what a lovely man. And, and I hope Sanghacitta can do that with anyone that's walking through that door, particularly when they're in a bit of a state. Because little did I know that was a massive change in my life. And I'm so grateful. And I hung around for a bit, then didn't go for 3 years. And I also want to thank Sanghacitta as well. And he was very part of my recovery. And I wasn't the most easiest of people to deal with at the time. And so I'm very grateful to that man and for bringing me to the centre, for bringing me to the LBC. I was thinking, if I knew where I was going to end up, would I do that journey again? Would I want to go through that pain again? Yes, I think I would, and it was worth it. Sort of definitely, but it was tough. And what I want to talk about. So that was my journey, and Guyaloka. I mean, I've been sworn to secrecy and not to talk about the big spiders and things like that. So, they're a bit feral looking and not like the exotic ones in the anyway. So it did have its challenges. I mean, wherever you go, you follow you. And so I came to Guyaloka with a head full of stuff, and so it was a distraction. It occupied my mind, and but soon went after 2 or 3 weeks, and it did have its challenges. It was a harmonious bunch in a lovely valley, and it was like, I don't know, like Moonmin land. It was like really, it was really lovely, and I was like the road above the estate, which was quite a posh estate where you. Oh no, you were in the same road, weren't you? Oh no, you know. Forget it. Anyway, lost his memory. It was just what do I say? It's like valley surrounded by pine trees, mountains, and but we were told not to give too many secrets away because of the next people that are going to get ordained next year, etc. But it was a harmonious bunch, and sure, we bumped up against each other occasionally, but that's what helped me grow as a person, and also it deepened our friendships as well. And the valleys, most of me was actually torrential rain. I was thinking, God, in Spain, I'm to come. It wasn't a holiday. Certainly, it wasn't a holiday. It was, but it was like the monsoon, and I've witnessed that. And it was near like the monsoon, and it rained for about 20 days in Spain and in May, and the valley sort of like takes on different forms depending on what the elements are doing, and but my favourite when there was a low cloud. It was a low cloud, and it took on that sort of fairy tale magical look, and just just sort of hearing, it's like brushing my teeth at night, because most of the time we spent outside, apart from our little hut, and but sort of washing yourself outside at night or brushing your teeth, and sort of like, you've got the full moon to the left and the North Star to the right. It's like, it's beautiful, really. It was, and what else am I going to say on this? And I think, as I said, I realised through that experience I can thrive in difficult times, because sometimes I didn't want to go there. Sometimes I wanted to go back in my own flat, and and because you do meet yourself and you get to really know who you are out there, which is good. It is good, and so through that, I grew. I'm 56-year-old man. I kind of grew overnight, sort of thing, and mentally, and the walks, the beautiful walks, and and the camaraderie, and the people were there, and we're all sort of looking after each other out there, and I've got to mention the food, because it wasn't that gruel you got out of the Matrix film. It was good food, and which is important, and And moments that stood out. Private ordination, of course. That was a real intimate, magical affair, and it was just, by my private preceptor. I mean, that was like. That's when I stop and think about that. It's like, amazing experience, and sort of like my private preceptor, Adityabandhu, taking me through the sadhana practice, and it's just him and I just meditating together, and it was just beautiful, and there was also funny jolly japes out there as well. I mean, Adbhutaja. I'm going to say this, so don't you? I was brushing my teeth, and it was pitch black, and I was brushing my teeth, and I thought, where's he gone? And he'd gone somewhere, and he hid behind a tree, and he had this torch under his face, and I said, where's he gone? And he went, like that, and he had this sort of torch under his face. Thank you for that. And when we were in quiet time as well, and then I thought I was going to get my own back on him, and oh no, okay, speed it up, okay, and I got my own back. I didn't get my own back on you because I got prasada chitta instead, didn't I? Coming around the corner instead, and I put the red light under my face anyway. So where are we on this? Okay, so I've just been given the gong. Thanks for that. Go on, blimey. Okay, so my thanks. Okay, so thank you firstly to my mother, who worked hard. She's no longer she died a long time ago, and in '97. But she really, she was a single mum. She worked, and she looked after my brother and I. And I'm very grateful, and she was worried about me and where I was going, and I really, if she could see me now, I'd be, she'd be really proud, I think, that I'm on the right path, and more than the right path, the path, I think, and I do know that. And I want to first of all thank Bhante Sanghacitta, my teacher, as well, because without him, none of this would have happened. And Adityabandhu, of course, my private preceptor and friend, who I'm actually eternally grateful for too, and who saw faith in me when I didn't always have the confidence and have faith in myself, and of course Danadhara, who's a brilliant teacher and a good friend, and a massive influence on me, and who publicly ordained me as well, and my Kalyana Mitras Jayaka and Maitra Raja, and just helping me get here, and I'm very grateful to you. And where's Maitra Raja? Oh, hello. And very grateful to you both, and like I said, Sanghacitta for introducing me to the LBC. I'm repeating myself now. What else have I got here? And obviously Vidya Dharka and the Guyaloka team, Kushantakara Dharmasara, and Padmaloka, for helping me get ordained, and I think that's all I've got to say, actually. But it's been really interesting, and thanks for listening.
Thank you very much, Sanghacitta. Very moved by that, actually, very heartfelt account, and that's what I got from it, really. That heart is in your name, and I think again that was brought out, particularly your Croydon story and what you want to offer as well. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so let's hear one more before our little pause, if he's ready. Okay, this is Adbhutaja.
Thank you. Hi everyone. So my name is Adbhutaja. And firstly, I wanted to talk about the name. So my name consists of two parts. So it's a Sanskrit name. The first half, Adbhuta, means wonderful, splendid, surprising. I think that's about it. There are some other words, but you get the sense. This name was this word Adbhuta was mentioned in the Pali Canon in several places, but one of the places where it stands out is the place where Buddha compares the Dharma, the teaching of the Buddha, to the great ocean, and this ocean has a lot of qualities, 8 qualities to be more specific, and all those qualities are wonderful, or Adbhuta. That's the first half, and Ja is born of, and as Paramabandhu explained to me that. So this Ja means born out of those qualities, being born of the Dharma in a way. And when I first heard the name, I thought, no, that's not me. I didn't realize how small my name was. Previous name was, until I heard that name. And it took me a couple of days just to come to terms that it is actually my name, and I have to grow up to this name. It's a bodhisattva's name, but I'm a bodhisattva in training, hopefully. So yeah, maybe it'll take lifetimes. So that's the name. And about the course. So when I went to the course, before going to the course, I had a very strong desire or idea to experience what it's like to be a monk. So I tried the robes many times beforehand in front of the mirror, but I didn't have my head shaved because my wife wouldn't let me. So as soon as I reached Spain, the first time I got into the hotel, I just shaved my head, actually with help from Sanghacitta. And then we arrived in Loka, and after some time I was able to put on the robe. And I thought it was some half-conscious idea that as soon as I put on the robe and I'll have the shaven head, I'll just have a deep meditation. I'll just be purified. But it didn't happen. So I kept shaving the head. I brought the shaver with me, 2 shavers. One of them just a trimmer, and the other one a shaver for the beard, so it takes the hair entirely off. So what I thought, I'll need to cut more hair, so we all more look like monks. So I kept doing that, so I didn't give it up all the way till the end, till the last day. But I think what really stood out for me, and what did approach to more like being a monk, it wasn't an individual experience, but was something that we experienced all together. Maybe instead of just saying more about what came up to me, just a short story can maybe convey some of the spirit of what happened. So I had a roommate in a hut. So it's not a hutmate in a way, by a moksha. He's not here. He lives in San Francisco. We knew each other for many years. He's a close friend of mine, my close friend. And there was another friend of mine that I didn't know very well, Lalitanaga. He lives in Ajisthana. So I had a friendship with by a moksha, and I was a friend of Lalitanaga. And I saw how through the whole course, their friendship unfolded. And even though I wasn't part of that friendship, I really enjoyed watching that friendship unfolding. That was just one of the friendships that was happening all over the place, all over the valley, and all over old friendships, new friendships. And it happens that they have a shared interest in astrology and painting. And sometimes I would just pop into the hut. Sometimes it was during the silence, so they were naughty. And they were just talking about, suddenly they would go quiet, and I saw that they had some paintings and then maps of the stars. And one night, they found binoculars in the library, old binoculars, and they wanted to see Venus with binoculars. Like, what? Anyways, one night I was just laying in my bed, and I heard them whispering. Again, it was during the silence, but they were naughty again. But I just heard them whispering, but I was like, what about this star? And I didn't want to join them, not because I wanted to look at the stars. I have a bit of interest with that, but I didn't want to be bitten by the mosquitoes, and I just felt much more comfortable in the bed. But I felt there was this spirit of friendship, and even though I wasn't there with them, and I wasn't directly part of that friendship, but in a way I was. And that's when I felt that I was part of something much, much bigger, part of many friendships within the order, in the movement, in life in general. Some friendships where that something was very adbhuta, was very wonderful and weird sometimes. were great. So yeah, that's when I felt that I was part of something bigger. And I don't know, I think they didn't see the Venus because the binoculars were quite old, and I think it wouldn't work. I knew that from the start, but I think also, and they came in the morning. I saw they had all their hands stung by mosquitoes, so I was glad that I didn't enjoy them. So that's the so yeah, it wasn't an individual experience, but it was something bigger that all of us were involved in. And I didn't give up shaving. So even on the last day, I shaved six men. Yeah, that was my record. So I think towards the end, the external appearance of people looking like monks matched the inner experience. And yeah, so that's hopefully that gives a bit of something spirit of the course. And also was aware of my friends outside of the retreat, friends and family. And they all helped me to get there. Yeah, I feel like also during the course, our friendships deepened, friendships with teachers and friends and family even, that all deepened. So I felt a lot of gratitude towards all of them, especially my preceptor, my private priest and public preceptor, that there is a connection on a deeper level. And also Bhante, we had a lot of stories about Bhante, and I read his memoirs 3 times. And it kind of became my personal favorite story, personal novel. But it was great to share that with others. Like, oh, I'm not the only one who admires thee. And the last thing, as I don't know, some of you might know that I'm the first Ukrainian Dharmachari to be ordained at the Triratna Buddhist order. And I was supposed to be ordained last year. That didn't happen because of the war. So sometimes I would go for a walk, or I would just sit and just be aware how peaceful it was. And I knew that if not for the defenders of Ukraine and Europe in a way, that wouldn't happen. So I felt quite grateful. So I guess that's it. Yeah.
Adbhutaja, that was quite a beautiful description, I think, of what you've been doing. I'm seeing moon and stars starting to surround you all more gradually, whether you're cleaning your teeth or trying to stay in bed. And yeah, it's very evocative evening so far, so thank you. I think there's even a teaching in what you first said as well, that you thought once the robe was on and the hair was off, the meditation would go way deep. But no. Lots to think about there, but lovely talk, thank you very much. So what we'll do now is a very short pause, and we'll do that in silence. So just a couple of minutes if you want to stand up, leave the room, come back, but we'll start again promptly in just a couple of minutes' time. Thank you. Good. So I don't know about you, but I'm really enjoying hearing from all these new guys. It's just great. Yeah, so thank you. And onward with Sangadharin.
Thank you. How lovely. I just want to start by expressing how wonderful this is, because I think this is the first time we've all been back together since the course. And shout out to Jai Casey there in the audience, who's also there on the course with us. But there's something magical about coming back together. But I think also while we were there, although we were away from our life for such a long time, like our life just felt so present to us. So coming back to all of you and lots of people that I know and lots of people that I share my life with in different ways. It's just really lovely coming back to being with these guys, but also being with you. So yeah, thank you for coming in. listening to us. So I'm going to start off by talking about my name. So my name is Sangadharin. That's Sangadharin. And so there's two parts to it. So Sangha means spiritual community, and Dharin means upholder, preserver, or protector. So kind of like the short version of my name is upholder of the Sangha. So I'll go into a little bit of it. But for those of you that don't know, in Buddhism there's the three jewels. There's the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. So the Sangha is one of the three jewels. So it's one of the three most important things in Buddhism. So I feel very lucky that my name has one of the three most important things in Buddhism in. And it has a few different meanings, but one of the meanings is that the Buddha's teaching, the Dharma, doesn't exist as a concept. It exists as a living spirit that's passed on through people to people. So if there were only books, Buddhism wouldn't really still exist. It needs people that are practicing. It needs people that are really living it to pass it on and pass on that living spirit to other people. So that's one of the things to uphold, is to uphold that ideal of a spirit, a living spirit of the Dharma passed on through person to person. Upholding the ideal of the Sangha. But then there's another part to my name as well, which is that the Sangha only stays a Sangha if we're practicing the Dharma. It only stays the Sangha if we're really practicing the teachings of the Buddha. Our teacher, Bhante Sangharakshita, often talks about the group and the spiritual community. And to stay spiritually vital, we need to be practicing so we don't then descend into being a group. So another part of my name is to uphold the spiritual vitality of our community. So there's two quite big things to uphold. So hopefully I can scratch at the surface of that. But there's a few things that I've really struck to me that I can do to try and uphold these ideals. So one of the things is just to exemplify Sangha. And to exemplify Sangha, I need to be a disciple to my teachers, look up to my teachers, be receptive. I also need to be a loyal friend to my peers who we're practicing together, the people that I'm sharing this journey with. But then also to help people that are newer to the path than me. So any experience that me and my friends have gained through practicing the Dharma, help others to realise it as well. There's those. So exemplify being a disciple, a peer, and a friend. When I got the name, I was just so happy. It's just like, yes, I love Sangha, I love people. And then the next day it was like, Sangadharin in my head. But then it dawned on me, I was like, oh God, that's a big thing to do. It's like, to exemplify the Sangha, you need to be practicing the Dharma. And to be practicing the Dharma, you need to be going for refuge to the Buddha. And it's like, oh no, I've got the whole path in my name. But how wonderful to have the whole path as in your name. And when I got my name, I was just ecstatic. Adbhutaja just said my name to me, and it's just like, oh, that's my name. I left the private ordination. I was just ecstatic, and I guess what I wanted to draw out was that before I got ordained with the name, I thought, okay, at ordination you're given a myth for your life. You're given something that from now on you need to live this out. But I thought that something more magical happened, that was that Adbhutaja spotted what the myth of my life already was. He saw what I was already trying to do with my life, and he brought that into the light, and he blessed it and encouraged it, and now has given me this beautiful name that I'll have forever to remind me of my ideals and to help me just live out and become just one person of this wonderful community that we're a part of. Going on, I just wanted to say just a few things from the course. In my private ordination, the real thing that stuck with me afterwards was just this feeling that I want to be in here forever. And it didn't last very long, but I just had this real feeling of I want to be in here forever. And afterwards I was like, that was by far the strongest. Like everything else, I think I was just a bit startled and a bit numb, but I just had this really strong feeling I want to be here forever. And I was thinking about it, and I think it's because I think at that moment is the moment in my life when I was in touch with the deepest meaning of my life. And And from that moment, I was like, I want to be in touch with this forever. This is what I want to live from forever. I want to live from this deepest feeling, this deepest urge of my life. Forgive me, I'm going to talk about a dream. So a couple of days before the ordination, I had a dream, and I was in the village where I grew up. And in the village was the ordination stupa where we get ordained. So in my dream, the ordination stupa was in Charminster, the village that I grew up in. And when I saw it, it was like, oh, it's there. But not only that, it's always been there. And in my dream, it's like, oh, the ordination stupa was always there. And I woke up and it was just really strong. And it hit me that whatever it is, whatever this deepest urge that has driven me to do this with my life has been there from the very start. And now I've managed to find a way to live that out and to find a path and a community to do that with. And it's just, I think that dream really summed up that, this is fulfilling something that's always been there in me. And how blessed to find something that I can do that with, and I can do that with my life. Yeah, so I think, I was in touch with that deepest urge, and hopefully I can stay in touch with that. But not only that, but I was there with others who were also trying to live out that urge, trying to find a way to express that in their life and orientate their life around that. And just, it was what a wonderful group of people. It's just, we use the word harmony a lot. It's interesting because I think it stayed with me because I've sung in a lot of choirs in my life. And in choirs, you're all singing your own part that by itself wouldn't be so interesting. But then when your voices come together, it creates something much more beautiful, much more rich, much more moving than your single part could. And it felt like on the course, it was like we were in a choir, but rather than singing a part, it was our lives and the way we were living was forming that harmony, was forming that intermingling of things that then creates something bigger and more beautiful than anyone could by themselves. And that by itself was just so beautiful. And if that was it, that would just be amazing. If that was all we were doing, it's just, wow, what a way to live, what a wonderful way to live. But that wasn't the reason we were there. Even if that was the reason we were there, great. But it wasn't. The reason we were there was because we were all trying to become wiser. We were all trying to become kinder. We were all trying to become more aware of other people so that we could go back into our lives and then enrich our lives and enrich the people in our lives. And I just think that's the most sublime ideal imaginable. And I felt so blessed to be in a situation where we were doing that so fully. It was so easy to practice the Dharma there. Just like there's nothing else to do. It was good. In one of the Zoom meetings before, Vijayadaka said, if you have any ideas of little projects you're going to do on the course, forget it. It's like, it's a very good place to practice the Dharma. It's a terrible place for anything else. It's so easy to practice the Dharma there, and just feel so lucky to have been in a situation where we could be working with our mind, with other people for that long, to just work on ourselves and come back into the world. And I guess I feel very lucky to be here in this situation, have found this community and to have been ordained. But in a way it has nothing to do with us. Like all we are as a result of the conditions in our lives, and lots of conditions have come together to allow us to do this. And I think when you see the conditions, the only response is gratitude. It's just want to express gratitude for all the different things that have come together to allow this to happen. Because in a way, it's nothing about us. It's just we've been lucky for the conditions to come together. So there's just a few people mainly. But before I thank the people, I just want to acknowledge how strong. I've just been really struck recently how strong a sense of place is. How having shared places really enriches your life and other people. And I've just been really noticing how many places there are that have been important in my life to let me be here. So there's the London Buddhist Centre, there's Padmaloka, there's Adhisthana, there's Guyaloka, and all of those wonderful places that we're just so lucky to have. When I was in Guyaloka, the thing that I was just struck with is like, how mad is it that we own a valley? Like, who owns a valley? And yeah, we're just so lucky to have those places in our lives, and for people to be looking after them. So I just want to, just express my gratitude for all those places. And then, so firstly, I want to thank my parents and my wider family, lots of who are here, so thank you for that. But I just want to express my gratitude for my parents. I had a moment a few months ago where they were in the shrine room. They were just at a Saturday class, and I was really struck by how they've instilled so many of the values in me that we're now trying to cultivate, in like kindness, honesty, generosity. All those things have been instilled in me as a really deep value from them, and now I've found a way to then live that out and keep on developing that. So I'm really grateful for all of their support and everything they've instilled with me. I also want to thank my partner Tara, who I live with, and just practicing the Dharma with you, living alongside you, is just one of the greatest joys of my life, and I'm really grateful for all the support you give me and have given me up to this point. I then want to thank my brothers Adityabandhu and Bodhimati, who I was on the course with. So we came along pretty much at the same time, and most things we've done together up to this point. So it's just really special being there with you two, and I just know we're going to have a friendship throughout our lives, and they're going to keep on developing. But I feel so grateful to have people to so closely share my life with in this way. So thank you to those two, you two. And then 3 friends. I've got so many friends I could list, but 3 who I wanted to just really highlight was Paramartha, Pranyamanas, and Stiramanas, who I just feel like have really just helped me through my whole journey. Like, my journey up to this point now wasn't all plain sailing. I had quite a times bumpy road to get here, but all 3 of them and lots of other people have really supported me throughout that whole journey. I'm just really grateful to have you in my life and now to be in the order with you. So thank you for that. Next I'd like to thank Jnanavacha, who is my public preceptor. I asked Jnanavacha for ordination on a men's intensive retreat, and he was just so pleased when I'd asked for ordination. He didn't really know me, but he was so happy. Then we had a lovely moment on the ordination retreat where it was pouring down with rain, and we wanted to have a chat before he publicly ordained me, and the only place we could find was the cleaning cupboard. So we got 2 chairs, and we were kind of like really close to each other with some bedding here, some dirty washing here. It was just wonderful connecting with you. But I feel so... You're definitely one of my main teachers here, and I really look up to you, so I'm really glad that I had that experience of being publicly ordained by you. Maitreya Bandhu, my private preceptor, there's not really much I can say to express my gratitude to you, but to have someone in my life that's taken me on as much as you have, and sees me so deeply, sees my potential, and just gives me so much love and just support to help me thrive. I couldn't imagine a greater blessing. So just thank you for everything you've given to me and the beautiful name. Good job. I think finally I'd like to thank Sanghacitta, Bhante Sanghacitta. And I actually came along a couple of weeks after Bhante died, so I never had any chance of meeting him. But I just feel immense gratitude, not just for his teaching, not just for his talks and lectures, but just he's built a whole Buddhist world that we can be a part of. He's given us a whole life that we can partake in, and just it's such a blessing. I can't imagine my life without this. I can't imagine being able to live as fully without this, and it's just basically single-handedly, originally down to him, just coming back and putting all of his life into creating this movement and this Buddhist world for us. I'd like to thank Sanghacitta. And finally, I just want to, just another little anecdote from the course. When I was quite scared throughout the whole course of the moment we took off our robe, because I was just loving wearing a robe. I think most days I'd say to Bodhimati, I just love wearing robes. And I was quite scared of the moment when we take it off. I thought I was going to be really sad when we take off our robes and then I sat there in our clothes. But actually, when when we did it, it was a totally different experience, kind of like taking off our robes, being in our just normal clothes, and then putting our kesa back on. So in our ordinary clothes, we put our kesa back on, and I thought I was going to be really sad, but actually it felt like an empowerment. It was kind of like there we were in our clothes that we were going to wear home with our kesa on, ready to go back into the world and then just share the Dharma as fully as we can, carry on practicing the Dharma as fully as we can, and just help the Dharma, help the living spirit of the Dharma really come into the world and be of benefit to all beings. Yeah, thank you.
Sangadharin, the whole path in your name. That's a hell of a thing, isn't it? I think I know the feeling. Good, thank you again. So let's hear from Bodhimati.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you. It's very nice to be here. Really nice to have so many friends here as well. And I wanted to say thanks for my family coming as well. My parents are here, my brother, and my parents have flown from the Czech Republic to be here as well, so I really appreciate that. And I just wanted to also thank them for all the support and encouragement throughout the years as I've gone from one unconventional thing to the other, and now ordained as a Buddhist. So, and they've been very supportive of all that, so I really want to thank them. What to say? Yeah, so we've been on this ordination course for 3 months in the mountains, as we've all heard. Found it very hard to kind of think back to the course. It kind of feels like it's happened in a dream, or not at all, or I'm still there. It's quite hard to gauge at what stage we're at. The main things kind of remember just like massive blue skies, blue men walking around. Infinite hummus wraps, trying to find new ways of using the jams to make it interesting, and just like loads and loads of meaning. I think the whole course just felt so pregnant with meaning, and just kind of, I don't know, everything just felt like it somehow meant something. You know, even walking around from our hut to the shrine room in our robes somehow felt like it was important, you know, or anything really. And it's not like anything particularly, you know, happened in those moments, but somehow they felt really important. And particularly this time around the ordination, I feel like the kind of importance, it's a few notches higher still. And the main thing that resulted in for me was just feeling this kind of deep sense of harmony, both in my mind, just feeling very much kind of at ease with my mind, but also feeling like everything around me was also saying, kind of reflecting that kind of harmony. It was like the trees and the environment, nobody around was also trying to support what we were doing. And I think this resulted in just feeling like, the world's such a friendly place. It wouldn't, in that sense or in that kind of time, it felt like any fears or insecurities about life or any anger couldn't possibly be real. It felt like what was real was the kind of harmony that was being reflected back from the environment and from those there with us. And I think this meant a lot to me, actually, this sense of harmony and just this kind of feeling of the world being a happy place, really. And another thing that kind of got reflected back out into the world from me was just feeling like I could kind of see the best in people, and somehow any irritations I'd have with people or any kind of, criticisms I'd have didn't seem to apply at all. I kind of forgot that it was possible to be critical of people till a few weeks later when this kind of mode wore off a bit and they rolled back in, and I was like, oh yeah, that is a thing you can do. But somehow it didn't occur to me for these few weeks that, I'd want to be critical or that anything but harmony was of any value. And in the middle of this period, Vidyadhara ordained me. And I just want to thank Vidyadhara for being a real loyal friend and a real support to me throughout the whole of my ordination training. And I think Vidyadhara has just been willing to engage me at whatever level I've wanted or needed. We got to know each other rock climbing. I think Vidyadhara would have been perfectly happy just to keep rock climbing, but instead, he ended up ordaining me, and I think he was probably happier ordaining me. So he ordained me and he gave me the name Bodhimati, which means he who has a resolve, determination, and love in the bodhicitta. So the first part of the name Bodhi is enlightenment, and the second part, Mati, can be translated in a whole bunch of different ways, and Vidyadhara has chosen resolve, determination, and love. And I think with the name, I think Vidyadhara is quite keen that whatever determination, ambition, any kind of emotional feeling I've got towards growth or towards enlightenment isn't just for my own sake, but it's for the sake of all beings. So this Bodhi, which can mean enlightenment, here is short for bodhicitta, which means kind of it's the altruistic dimension of Buddhism, basically. It's the will to enlightenment for the sake of all. And I think he's trying in there draw out that to really face towards other people. That was kind of the crux of the retreat, really, the ordination. As with everybody else, I couldn't have got ordained without loads of other conditions and people. So I want to thank Adityabandhu as well. He co-led our course with Vidyadhara, and Adityabandhu is just a wizard, really, who kind of has endless kind of pithy ways of summarising whatever's going on and kind of increasing the value in it. And he just did that throughout the 11 weeks we were on the course, which kind of just added so much more richness. And outside of the course as well, Adityabandhu is a really good support and friend to me, so I really appreciate that. And I live and work at the Buddhist Center, so I live with 11 other men, including Pranyamanas, Dave Mitra, sure there's other guys here, Tyler's there, James is there, Danny's there, so loads of guys, and I just feel so grateful that I live with a bunch of guys that, we're just good friends, I think, and it's just easy to live with friends, and very supportive, and Danadhara's there as well. Thomas. Anyway, I don't have to say everybody. They're all here, basically. Still next door. Yeah, so that just feels lovely to be able to live with friends that want to do the same thing I want to do, really. What more could you ask for? And apart from living with friends, I also work with friends. So I work at the Buddhist Center here as well, so really grateful. There's plenty of guys I work with here. Really grateful to be able to work in this context. I really just feel like, in a way, it's going to give you a bit of a slight flavour of the retreat. Kind of minus the robes and the mountains, it basically feels like it feels being at the RBC. It's so similar. Any of you, if you went on the retreat, you wouldn't be like too shocked by what we were doing if you've been here before. It's complete same thing in a sense. It's also different, but the kind of essence of it is very similar. So I just feel so fortunate that we're part of a Buddhist movement where, in the middle of London, in quite an urban area with a noisy road outside, we can just do something that feels deeply fulfilling. And in a way, you don't have to escape to the mountains or go live in Tibet or whatever. You can just do it here, and it feels as though, it just feels, it's just as real as being in the mountains, basically. So I just feel very fortunate. In a way, the ordination just feels like it's another step in everything I'm doing here. I also want to thank Laura for kind of standing by me throughout this whole time. I want to thank Bhante Sanghacitta for creating this movement and creating this whole framework and this whole world in which we can practice. I think it's so rare to have any kind of grouping of people where you can actually agree on what you want to do and then actually just do it and work out anything in the middle of that. And I think he's really kind of set out really good guidelines to do that. So I think that's such a gift, and it's really easy to underestimate how complicated and how fragile in a way the spiritual community is. I feel really grateful for all the work he started, and all the people that have followed, Subhuti, Nyanavocha, loads of people kind of thinking more deeply about the Dharma, loads of people, David Mitchell starting up Buddhist Center very early on, people that worked on in this building. I mean, there's countless people, it would be impossible to name them all, but I feel like all of them in some way contributing to something I can step into. So all of that really feels, just very rare and very kind of, I don't know, what are the chances, of coming across it and being able to actually jump into it. So, I feel so fortunate to be able to do that. And, hope it goes well from here on out. Hope it will. and definitely just want to keep doing it.
Bodhimati, especially for starting to sketch that web of conditions that's led us to where we are at the end there, and for your image of a natural world, telling you that ease is not just possible but a natural thing. Yeah, lovely sign about the mind. Yeah, thank you. Okay, last but not least, it is Adityabandhu.
I wrote my notes down on a piece of paper, and now I'm sort of got to look a bit closer, so don't mind me. So as Pranamana said, my name is Adityabandhu, which means kinsman of the sun, which is an epithet for of the Buddha, and an epithet's like a phrase expressing an attribute, like regarded as sort of characteristic of a certain thing, i.e. the Buddha. In this case, the quality of the Buddha. So my name was given to me by my private preceptor, Vidyadhara, and why did he choose this name? It doesn't, when you hear kinsman of the sun, it's not quite clear what it is. At least, it's not like really sort of sharp or something. But when I heard it, actually when I first heard it, I thought Vidyadhara meant sun, S-O-N, and I was a bit confused for a second. and anyway, soon I got over that. Anyway, so why did he choose this name? So I think there is a literal connection to the sun. My family and myself, I'm from Portugal, and like the Buddha, like a kinsman, also have sort of strong, important family bonds and roots from that land. So in that sense, I'm a kinsman of the sun. So very simple. But it wasn't only on that level that Vidyadhara, I think, picked my name. So Bandhu also means kinsman, which is often translated as brother, but in my case it's kinsman. And for me, it has a bit more of a sort of a visceral connotation, basically. Brother is strong. Kinsman is to do with your roots and your, I don't know, I haven't put it quite into words yet, but it's something to do with something stronger than brotherhood. I know we say sort of brotherhood is sort of the strongest thing, but it goes even deeper than that. So just anyway, I'll go on to sun. I'll go on to Aditya. Yeah, so he said, so kinsman of the sun, Aditya, and the sun is light. It illuminates everything. It illuminates the good and the bad and the ugly. And we've talked about Bhante Sanghacitta, but I want to quote him, actually. And this is something that Vidyadhara quoted on my public ordination. So this comes from Transforming Self and World, when Bhante answers, what is the sun? The sun is light. It is not enough to say that it is a spiritual light, for it is more than this. It is, we may say, a transcendental light. It is transcendental in the traditional Buddhist sense of Lokuttara, that which means beyond the world, beyond the mundane, beyond all that is conditioned. It is therefore without beginning and without end. It does not shine forth from anything, from any particular place, from any particular direction, though it may appear to do so, or even be spoken of doing so. We may call it the light of truth, the light of reality, the light of the Buddha, but even that does not go far enough. It is a light which is truth, which is reality, which is the Buddha. So it's also the light of Vajrasattva, which is my sadhana, my yidam, the practice given to me, visualization practice at ordination. Anyway, I think another thing about the name was Vidyadhara wanted really to make sure that nothing was hidden, nothing was concealed, everything came to light, and only when that happened could I be a brother to other people. So you really made a strong point of you can't be Bandhu without Aditya. You can't be a brother without light, without clarity, without without Aditya. At the same time, to get into sort of connection, communication, and clarity, you can just start by being a brother. Yeah, so it kind of, it's good. Anyway, people seem to be quite struck that when I said my old name had cloud in it and my new name has sun. Yeah. Well, I wanted to talk about just a couple of moments that stand out as well from the actual course. Actually, the first one is before the course, which is when we were meeting in the small town in Villajoyosa on the 2nd of May, the morning that we went into the mountains. And it was quite a thing because it's just a congregation of 19 men in drabs just coming together in this small town, and no one quite knows what's going on. And we're not quite sort of Costa Blanca tourists in the usual sense. And we're all sort of coming together and we don't quite know each other, and it's all a bit, and we're all going through quite a particular phase. We're about to get ordained, and just that sense of waiting, we had that a lot. We waited in the public ordination. You just had to wait for the day to come. It was a lot about sort of preparing. We've been preparing up till now, and then we've just been waiting. So when we met in Villajoyosa, that was just sort of, we were doing something a bit in secret, it felt like, actually. Which I think is quite an apt image for, the spiritual life, is quite individual, and we do it on our own accord, and it sometimes doesn't seem to sort of reflect the society around us, but we do it anyway. Yeah, so the second thing was actually the thing that Sangadhara mentioned about when we took our robes off on the last day, and we'd just been in robes for the whole time, the whole 3 months pretty much, 2.5 months. And we took it off, and everyone returned to the shrine room in just their cases and their normal civilian clothes, as it were. And for me, I thought basically I'd probably be judging people. Usually I'd judge people, oh, they're wearing this, they're wearing that. What do I think of this person? Where do they stand sort of in comparison to me or something like that? But we'd gone through something, and then we'd come out of the other end, and in a way we're kind of normal, but we're also not. We've done this thing, and we all sort of knew it together. And I think, again, like the Villajoyosa tidbit, it's a similar thing. We kind of look normal, and we're located with everyone else. And we are normal, but we've made a commitment, and I don't know, I'm not that normal, to be honest. my parents would attest to that. So, I think this comes to the thank yous then. Well, I think firstly I want to thank my parents who are here. So usually in Buddhism it's quite a prerequisite to, there's a prerequisite of being happy, healthy human beings. And my parents, without them I wouldn't be. They worked very hard, working class, and my brother and I went to university, and we're probably the first generation to have gone. And in a way, just like Bodhimati was saying, I was never going to do something conventional, and I think they sort of knew that. But it was fine, actually. And I think given my temperament, I would have found it hard if my parents weren't on my side, basically. I don't know if I'd have been here. My preceptors, Maitreyabandhu and Vidyadhaka. So Maitreyabandhu, my public preceptor. So many things. I mean, I wouldn't have. So I work here, co-caretaker with Maitreya Raja, and I wouldn't have, had it not been for Maitreyabandhu encouraging me, giving me confidence, showing me sort of a bit more what I'm able to do, a bit more of my worth. And in a way, more and more I've seen sort of the genius of Maitreyabandhu, and just being in situations with Maitreyabandhu where warmth and love is his sort of primary mode, his go-to. Even, we were just at a wedding this weekend, and Maitreyabandhu, it needed picking up at times, we would admit, but I mean, it was a great wedding. If you're watching online, I'm allowed to make a faux pas. Okay. I think your genius is to just bring so much warmth, even when you're not getting much back, and then you really get things from people. You just work out of the love mode, basically. And of course, Vidyadhaka, my private preceptor, who gave me the name. I think just thank you for the encouragement, basically, as well, and the being extremely and graciously consistent with me, and loyal as a friend, unswayed, loyal, helpful, and challenging as well. And thank you for the name, which when I left the stupa, I thought something had changed. I thought, okay, this is me. And and I want to thank, lastly but not least, my friends from the course, in particular Bodhimati and Sangadharin. because I think peer friendships sort of makes this life worth living. We had our up and downs in the course, but it does definitely feel like when something is going on between us in our friendship, the first response I have, and I feel like particularly these two friends have, is a genuine response of compassion or concern or whatever it is, and so that beats the sort of surface level, basically. It beats the surface level response of what I've been used to my whole life. Yeah, that's me.
Adityabandhu, very beautiful talk again. Another good description of Buddhists, kind of normal, kind of not. Very good, actually. And what a beautiful name. It's given you those ways to practice, bringing light and clarity into every corner, or if you can't, at least being a brother. Yeah, congratulations. So there they all are. We've heard from all of our new men, Danadhara, Sanghacitta, Adbhutaja, Sangadharin, Bodhimati and Adityabandhu, and I think you've all borne yourselves nobly already. Wonderful hearing from you all, and I think you have given us a taste of something rather than necessarily a description, which is the best way. And yeah, I wish you all the best, and I think all of us do. And thank you, not just for giving your talks, but actually I'm struck and impressed and grateful for the fact that you've taken on to uphold these values you've been discussing. It's really a huge thing, and the world ought to thank you for it. So thank you again for all of that and for sharing yourselves this evening. Thank you very much.